Okay, so now we're actually now to our next pasta, and this is going to be a white-based pasta. And the reason for the whiteness of it, we're going to be incorporating two different cheeses. These cheeses are Pecorino Romano, which is a salty cheese, and then we have Parmesan, which is a very nutty cheese. Also with this, we have guanciale, which is one of my favorite meats. This is actually the pig's jaw. Saying that if you cannot find guanciale, you can actually use bacon, but the big thing is it needs to be thick cut. So as you can tell here, this is the size that you need, because whenever you do pan-sear it like we're doing right now, you need to make sure that you have a little bit of leeway with your crunch. You don't want it to be so crunchy. But it is a very fat cured meat, because again it is the pig's jaw. Very lovely. So what we have here again is going to be some linguine pasta. We have our Pecorino Romano, we have our Parmesan cheese, and then we have 5 egg yolks with 2 whole eggs. So 5 total. 2 of those are actually whole eggs, so 3 egg yolks, 2 total. So what this dish is that we're going to be tempering the egg yolks, so it means partially cooking the egg yolks with the fat from the seared guanciale. So if you're for the faint of heart for cholesterol, maybe this is not the dish for you, or maybe it is a dish for you, but only maybe once a year. So first and foremost, the water is already boiled. I've added salt to it, but again, only after the water boils. We're going to do our little roux, looking like this for 3 people. Go ahead and put in, I'm just going to put a little bit more because carbonara is one of those dishes that literally everybody loves. It's very good, it's meaty, it's eggy, it's cheesy. You can't go wrong with it. So the first and foremost thing, I'm searing the guanciale right now. And I'm going to sear it just a little bit longer because you want to get that brown on the outside, a good dark brown, because once we pull it out, we're going to again use the oil, the fat from it, to then temper the eggs. So what we need to do with the eggs now is going to be whisking them. Now the one thing I would like to advise for this one pasta dish is that we need to cook the noodles to literally all the way done in the water. And the reason being is that seeing that we're using tempered eggs, if we put the eggs back on, guess what? We have now scrambled eggs and we have a totally dish, and yes, I would probably be disowned. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to take the guanciale out. Smells wonderful, it looks wonderful, life is good. And again, guanciale, seeing that it is cured, it's going to have a little bit of salt content to it, okay? So always think about this, is that you already have salt in the water, you already have salt in the guanciale, and seeing that we're using the reserve fat from the guanciale, guess what? We're going to have salt in the eggs, okay? So again, on the flavor basis of building, seeing that we have eggs, I'm going to go in with the guanciale. From there, I'm going to go in with the Pecorino Romano and the Parmesan cheese. I want to always increase the sauce, so I'm going to add some of the pasta water, and then to finish off the sauce, black pepper. Another thing, as you can probably tell, if you can't see this far, is that the fat is smoking right now. We need to let it cool down just a little bit, and the reason for that is that it will cook the eggs immediately if we put it straight in. I'm just swirling the pan to go a little bit faster in the sense of trying to get more surface area to the fat. Alright, so now we're going to start slowly drizzling in. When your fat is hot, you don't dip it here. You let some of the air hit it. So go a little bit higher. Just drizzle in a little. Go a little bit higher again. The higher you go, the more air hits it, so it cools down just that much quicker. And that's due to the fat and it being hot. So now I'm going to add a whole cup of Pecorino Romano, and then 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan Reggiano. Now I'm going to spin this around. And one thing you'll notice whenever you are doing this at home is that, whoa, Burton, it got really thick really quickly. And you're right about that. So now what we're going to start doing is adding a little bit of pasta water. And again, that's why you don't ever throw out the pasta. And we're just going to slightly temper this as we're going. And it's going to keep building and building. It's going to help melt the cheese. And then once we're satisfied with the sauce, guess what? We're going to add that black pepper to it. Remove the linguine pasta. And then toss everything together off the heat. Again, we don't want scrambled eggs. So now when we're looking at it, it's very, very thin. So now we have eggs incorporated into it, pecorino romano, and then also Parmesan. So from here we're going to add black pepper. We're going to do half a teaspoon of black pepper. And again, it just smells really, really good. I'm going to actually add another half teaspoon. I like mine a little bit more peppery. And the recipe will say this as well. Now the reason that we're going to be doing the sauce again off the heat is that the pasta is going to be very, very hot. And the pan that we use to sear the guanciale, guess what? It has a little bit of fat left in it as well. So whenever we put the pasta in, we're going to incorporate with our sauce. Add the guanciale, add a little bit more cheese because everybody loves cheese. And then we'll plate it and then sprinkle a little bit more cheese on as well. And then a few grindings of black pepper. So this is again a very, very good pasta. And it's traditional Italian. And you always want to make sure you taste the sauce. It is tempered egg, so you're good. Alright, so now we have our hot pasta. We're going to pour a little bit of our mixture into the pasta. Alright. Sprinkle a little bit of our guanciale throughout. Use our tongs. Now we're just massaging it. A little bit because I'm a saucy guy. Alright. And the reason that we're spinning it, as we did the pasta with tuna, is that you want to help release some of that starch. And the noodles are very, very hot, and now they have a liquid to release that starch into. And then grab a lot of the pasta, okay? That's the big thing, grab a lot. If you don't have a lot, grab some more. And as you can tell, I'm grabbing it with the tongs, going as big as I can, and going into the bottom of the ladle. And all I'm doing is spinning while the ladle stays stationary. So again, we're going to go right to plating. Go right here. Let it sit. Always, always, always move some of the pasta back, and then we're going to straight. Got to get the sauce, got to get some guanciale in it, and then we're also going to be pouring some fresh cheese on top. Who doesn't love guanciale and cheese and eggs all together? And that is simple pasta 101. A little bit of Parmesan, a little bit pecorino romano, and just always a few bit more pieces of guanciale because you can never go wrong. And this is pasta carbonara.